Today, we're diving into the whirlwind that is Cardi B's highly anticipated sophomore album, Am I the Drama? A record that has made waves for more reasons than one. We've got the hits, the controversies, the drama, and even some serious numbers to break down. So grab your headphones and get comfy, because we're about to dissect one of the most talked about albums in hip-hop right now. Now, let's start with the album's reception. While we saw some mixed reactions leading up to its release, the album is certainly catching fire, and not just for its musical quality. Cardi B, being the self-proclaimed queen of controversy, isn't just sitting pretty with catchy hooks and viral moments. She's really leaning into the drama. Her new tracks Dead and Pretty and Petty have sparked conversations left and right, particularly for the shot she takes at her fellow female rappers Bia and JT from City Girls. But before we dive into the disses, let's talk about the overall sound and reception of Am I the Drama? Fans have been praising Cardi for her confidence and boldness. Am I the Drama marks a departure from the more commercially focused elements of Invasion of Privacy, showcasing a side of Cardi that's willing to push boundaries. Musically and socially, the production is still top-notch, but there's this sense of rawness, vulnerability, and, dare I say, immaturity in her lyrics that listeners can't help but gravitate toward. The album's tracklist feels like Cardi B giving us a glimpse behind the curtain of her life, with all its messiness, humor, and drama. But let's get to the meat of it. The drama. Dead and Pretty and Petty are two of the most talked about tracks on the album, not just because of the music, but because of the fierce, sharp lines Cardi throws at Bia and JT. On Dead, it's clear Cardi isn't pulling punches. The track opens with this unapologetic energy, setting the tone for what's to come. The lyrics in Dead seem like a direct shot at Bia, who Cardi has had some friction with in the past. Lines like, "I put a dead bee in a grave, they can't haunt me," seem to directly reference Bia, who's been in the headlines for some very public spats with Cardi's camp.
Because you mentioned my kids trying to be cute. There's gonna be times that like people throw shots at you, or like there's gonna be times like, you know, like when she did her little diss and it was trash. Like it's like it could have been trash, people dragged you and I could have leave it at that. But it's like everything on social media is gonna be seen. So when my kids grow up one day and they see that you mentioned them, and then they're gonna ask me like, so what you said, what you did, I'm not gonna tell my kids like, you know, I just felt like she took the high road because she lost because people wasn't on her side. No, I'm not saying that to my kids. I'm like, you see how I violated, and it's more. You know what it is? I feel like last year every artist was like beefing.
Girl.
Like every artist was beefing, and I think she was gonna get a moment out of that because she thought that I was copying her. And I had a conversation with her. First, we was cursing each other out. Then I had a real conversation with her, and I was like, listen, I'm not copying you. I don't even look at you. Like you're not a person that I look at or I'm inspired by. And the conversation ended. Then she kept going because of a music video, and it's like, oh girl, you definitely not on the mood board.
But it's the chorus of Dead that truly sticks with you. I'm burying these girls like it's nothing. I'm dead. Cardi uses the metaphor of death not just to talk about burying competition, but also about shutting down anyone who dares to come for her throne. Fans on Twitter were quick to point out that this could also be Cardi's response to those who try to overshadow her success. Then there's Pretty and Petty, the track that takes Petty to a whole new level. Cardi's not just throwing shade here. She's practically giving a masterclass in how to be petty and still look flawless doing it. The lyrics are sharp, taking direct aim at JT with lines like, "Don't make me start acting up. You know I'm petty as hell. Don't push me." Now, for context, JT and Cardi have had a bit of a public back and forth in the past, and this feels like Cardi's not-so-subtle reminder that, when it comes to the crown, she's not playing nice. And let's be real, fans love it. One commenter on Reddit noted, Cardi B on Pretty and Petty is the perfect embodiment of don't mess with me unless you want the smoke. Like, she made it clear who's boss. But it's not all beef and bars. The album also carries some introspective moments where Cardi reflects on her personal growth, her rise to fame, and her desire to protect her peace. Despite the drama, it's clear Cardi wants to show her versatility. The album is definitely more than just a collection of diss tracks. It's a reflection of her journey as a mother, wife, and businesswoman. Okay, but let's get to the real tea now. The certification of Am I the Drama by the RIAA. Here's where things get, well, a little tricky. Within just a day of the album's release, it was certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America. Yes, platinum. But how is that even possible? Well, here's the deal. Cardi didn't just rely on the sales and streams of the 12 new tracks on the album. No. She strategically included older smash hits like Up and WAP featuring Megan Thee Stallion as part of the track listing. These songs had already racked up millions of streams and were massive hits, but now those numbers were added into the mix for Am I the Drama? Now, you might be wondering, how does that all add up to a platinum certification in one day? The key is that the RIAA doesn't just look at new sales. They factor in the total number of streams and sales an album generates, including any pre-existing hits if they're included in the album. With WAP and Up already having enormous streaming numbers and charting high, their inclusion essentially gave the album a huge head start. The streams and sales from these songs helped Cardi B's album hit the 1 million units mark quickly. However, this isn't without controversy. While the RIAA has certified Am I the Drama Platinum, those older tracks, like WAP and Up, won't count toward the first week Billboard 200 numbers. That's because Billboard has a specific window for an album's release, and those songs were already out before the album dropped. So, while the platinum certification is a huge win for Cardi B, especially considering this is only her second studio album, it doesn't mean those older tracks will factor into her first week charting numbers. Some fans and critics argue that including these older songs was a smart marketing move, but others think it might take away from the excitement of her actual new material. Now, let's zoom out for a second. This isn't Cardi's first time making RIAA history. Remember her debut album, Invasion of Privacy? That was the first female rap album to have all of its tracks certified platinum or higher. Cardi B's been setting records left and right. And with Am I the Drama already going platinum in a day, it's clear she's cementing her place in history. At the end of the day, whether you love or hate the album, one thing is for sure. Cardi B's impact is undeniable. She's had the industry in a chokehold ever since she stepped onto the scene, and she's showing no signs of slowing down. Sure, Am I the Drama has its fair share of drama, literally and figuratively, but that's what makes Cardi who she is. She thrives on the chaos, the tension, and of course, the headlines. So, will Am I the Drama hold up as a classic? Only time will tell, but one thing's for certain. Cardi B's name is going to be in the conversation for years to come. And with that, we're out. Until next time, keep streaming, keep vibing, and most importantly, keep your drama just the right amount of pretty and petty.